Hi, Thomas.
The traveler.
Well, aren't we all?
Yeah, true. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I love the setting. We're at Starbucks at Moen. You just landed. I got you for like 20 minutes, and then you're traveling away to some other place doing some speak tomorrow.
Life in airports.
Yes.
Romantic.
Very romantic. Yeah. So I've been following you for years. I think you're a really inspiring man, and I took a quick look at your website again when I was traveling up to the airport now, and the first thing I noticed in the About You section was that you don't do plans. Can you tell me a little about that?
Yeah, well, obviously, first of all, some plans is necessary. I have to plan my flight schedules and stuff like that. So,
Yes.
so tactical plans like how to arrange traveling, or how to make everything happen, of course. But what I mean by talking about not doing plans, I have a belief that plans are either one of two things. Either it's something that we actually construct afterwards just to sort of make us look a bit smarter.
Yeah.
Because if I can tell you that, and then I plan to go for this, and then I manage to win this and do that
stuff, yeah.
Eventually you will start looking at me as a very smart person, that, oh, how did you manage to, figure all that out and to get it all? And, or that's one thing. Or otherwise, the other thing about plan is that if you have a solid plan, you might get stuck to follow the plan.
Yeah.
And I know of no one, a successful entrepreneur or anyone, that is actually stuck to plans. It's rather the opposite, that the ones that I know that are successful are usually the ones that are more pragmatic, and they sort of try to find their way forward instead of sticking to plans.
Yeah.
So plans, I believe very much in what Kierkegaard said, that life it has to be lived forward, but we can only understand it backward.
Yeah.
So looking backward today, it's very easy for you and me to understand what got us here.
Yeah.
And you can explain what got you here, and likewise. But it's impossible for us to explain how the journey we have up ahead is going to look like. We can talk about dreams, and we can talk about ambition and all sorts of things, but we have no clue. I might lose a leg tomorrow or whatever, and in the end it's always the ability to adapt to change that is going to determine if you win or lose. So.
True.
So I'm not a big fan of plans.
No. So you like to live in the moment then?
And especially also today we have a very everybody's talking about rapid change, how fast everything is changing.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that the big difference between us today in our lifetime and the ones who lived before us is the speed of change. So just like a generation or two ago, you could live a life and it was every day was a little bit the same.
Yeah.
You can feel that there was a certainty that if I got this kind of education and if I got this kind of work and etc., then things will keep going.
Yeah.
And then you retired and that was it.
Yeah.
That was life.
That was life.
That was life. And that's not it today. Today more and more people are starting, I think, to realize that there is no such thing as job security or anything, that everything changes so fast. So you can, life as it looked like when you and I was growing up is very different from today.
Yeah.
And in 10 more years, I believe we cannot even imagine what we will have, come up with, what kind of innovation in technology and anything in just 10 years.
True.
So,
do you think now is better than it used to be in terms of living and in terms of quality of life, in terms of happiness?
I think, first of all, there is nothing else but now. So that makes it impossible to talk about that, you know, something else was better. But of course, you know, if you compare, if you start thinking about memories in the past and everything, then you can realize that there are a lot of things that are actually better today. There is this Swedish guy called Hans Rosling, maybe you know, the demographer. He's very famous for explaining how life is actually a lot better on Earth today. So in a certain meaning, life is a lot better today, because in terms of poverty and, you know, the way we can manage diseases and everything. And if you watch life expectancy, for instance, you know, you and I, we are living a life today where we can count on, if we have a baby, that baby will survive, and etc. etc. Yeah. So a lot of things are better in that perspective.
Yeah.
But not necessarily in the perspective of, because in your questions you asked about happiness and stuff like that, and you know, it's sort of a paradox, because we live in the most peaceful time in history.
Yeah.
And we have a material wealth and everything that if you just go to another country, like in the third world, if you talk to people there, they truly believe that if they can switch and could live your life, they would have no worries, because it seems like dream life, you know.
Yeah.
So in that perspective, we have a dream life. But still, we are consuming more pharmaceuticals, and we have a lot of problems with, you know, people depressed and feeling no meaning and everything. So that's why I'm not sure if the answer is yes or no, because obviously if you're not able to enjoy the now, well, then the rest doesn't matter so much.
No.
It doesn't matter if I have fancy stuff or good health or money on the bank account and everything, if I'm stressed about how it will be tomorrow or something. So
true.
So from that perspective, maybe life was better when we were sort of not thinking too much about these things, because obviously that's you're familiar with Maslow and the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
And I believe that has something to do with it, you know, that if you are climbing, it's very easy to see the next step, and the next step is very inspiring. You want to come to the next step.
Yeah.
So if you have food but no car, you know, you can go for a car. I want that car. And all of a sudden work and everything seems meaningful. You go for, I want the car, you know. So don't ask me about meaning. I know I want the car, you know.
Yeah.
But after a while, when you have everything, it's not so easy anymore. It's like, okay, what's the next step?
Yeah.
Should I go for a second car, or
when you're used to just working goals, then you work to next car, next house, next boat, next everything.
Yeah.
I was traveling with UNICEF 3-4 years ago to Madagascar, which was an amazing trip, and I was kind of thinking that I would, you know, feel sorry for the people and kind of almost not look down at them in a bad way, but I would
know the
feel
feeling,
helpless, right? And we one day we drove for 4 or 5 hours straight into the bush or the desert or whatever you call it, right? Not water in miles around, and we got to this little village with 300-400 people, and they, in terms of how we usually live, they didn't have anything, right? 10-12 people lived in this tiny little space. The clothes were like broken and so dirty because they didn't have water, and it was kind of a very sad look, right? But when I got to talk to the people that lived there, I've never seen, you know, so much. You know, they really appreciated every little thing they got, and they were so happy in a way that I never seen anyone in the West ever been. So I was kind of more like, instead of pitying them, I was like more ashamed of my view of how I would see them and what we got. And I think that's very fascinating what you're saying about the longing, and when we have so much possibilities, I think maybe we kind of don't appreciate it the same in some kind of way.
I mean, I truly believe it's very simple, but no one manages, and that's the great paradox.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you have to love what you have.
Yeah.
And almost no one manages to do that because we strive for having something that others have.
Yeah.
Because we compare.
Yeah.
And that's our instinct, our social behavior, you know, we compare with other human beings, and that's not so strange. So the thing here is that the thing that I learned is that, and it's such a beautiful thought when you remind yourself of it and when you have it, that there is actually, I don't know anyone in the world that I should envy, because it doesn't matter how much stuff they have or whatever, because you can see that there is only in the end one thing that will actually, you know, make you enjoy life and be happy, and that is awareness of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Because the mood you have, if you feel angry or sad or if you envy someone or everything like that, is obviously created by your own thoughts.
Yeah.
So when you say something like, well, don't say that, you make me sad, then you are lying basically, because no one else makes you sad. You make yourself sad. You know? And this can be provocative for some people, but you know, in the end, it's very, very true that everybody has something to be you know, gracious of, and to feel that, oh, I'm thankful for having this.
Yeah.
But instead we use to focus on not what we have to be thankful, but rather go for what we would like to have instead, or more, or otherwise, you know. And that makes us sad.
Yeah.
Because we feel that, well, you know, why don't I get this, and I deserve this, and you know, etc., etc. And this is all because of, you know, the self-centric thinking.
Yeah.
And the self-centric thinking is it's nothing to blame anyone for. It's just human thing. You know,
and
we are aware of our existence. And
Yeah.
that's why we are self-centric. Because in the end, it will be a survival thing. So,
But I feel like I'm seeing a trend now in terms of people talking about mindfulness and appreciation, and it looks like a lot of successful people are starting to focus more on their thoughts, their health, their loved ones, and giving back in some kind of way. Do you see the same trend?
I definitely think, you know, as far as spirituality goes, I believe that's a trend. I think I was recently at a conference in Silicon Valley where the whole, you know, event was about this.
Yeah.
About CEOs starting meetings with meditation and stuff like that.
All right.
Disconnecting from technology to be able to connect in a meeting like this, and to be here, to be present, not to be, you know, fibbling and mailing and, you know, trying to do multitask and everything like that, but to actually be here
In the moment.
in the moment. And I think that's a good trend. I think that if more people start to show sincere interest of this that I'm talking about, you know, the awareness thing, that I am actually aware of my thoughts. I can watch my thoughts.
Yeah.
I can study myself. I can ask myself, why did I get so annoyed? Why did I get angry? You know, that's interesting. I'm not believing that the thoughts are, you know, for real. I'm just watching my thoughts, that I'm having angry thoughts. Why am I having angry thoughts? You know, and then learn something. Okay, so I get angry just because he behaves like that in the traffic or something. That's interesting. Am I that weak today, or am I just, you know, am I that kind of person? And then, because when I start thinking about my thoughts that way, then I must also, you know, come to a point where I start asking myself that, okay, so for how long will I keep having those thoughts? Because I get a bad feeling in my body, you know, I'm scared or I'm angry. So how long will I keep going like this?
Yeah.
When, you know, because obviously I'm creating this uncomfortable feeling in my own body, and it's a beautiful day, you know. So I'm missing I'm missing the day just by feeling angry.
Yeah.
And it's, in the end, that's a very interesting path to go. And I believe that if more leaders start reflecting on things like this, then obviously more leaders will have to be more conscious about decision making, and to understand that, you know, in the end, it's all about connectivity.
Yeah.
That we have a relationship it might be a weak, a small relationship we just met, or it might be a steady relationship, but we all have a relationship. We are all connected on this planet. And if I do one kind of decision, we will create a distance, because I'm creating this decision because I'm more focused on what I should gain than what you should gain, and you will be, maybe you will distance yourself, and we will have a disconnection. And that's what's happening a lot today in society, that people are disconnecting. Or if I try to understand how you feel, and we make more conscious decisions, then I could create a tighter connection, and that's how relationships grow and get better. And if we believe in a network society where everybody is connected, and a more relationship-focused economy, then obviously it would be a crucial thing for success to have leaders that actually understand how to create good relationships. And that can only happen if you are conscious and open and aware, and understand that this might be, on the paper, this might be the right decision to make, but it might be the wrong one as far as creating value in society or something. So it might be a very good trend, a very important trend that is so much bigger than CSR.
I agree.